Hello, this is Joseph Treitman. It is currently a bit after midnight on February 7th, 2024. So this evening it was February 6th. I've been somewhat busy. I had a number of students that led me up until midnight. But before that, on my way out, just grocery shopping, on a lamppost located probably about 10 to 20 feet from my apartment building, I found and took down this poster graffiti or sticky. This seems to be something from Priority Mail that was just taken and stuck onto a lamppost that contains some anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, to put it bluntly. I put it in my pocket and it folded over on itself. But here in the bold, it says Free Gaza. That's not a problem by itself, but so you see. And then End Neo-Capitalism. Now, I'm not an economist. I had to look up what neo-capitalism was. It seems like it's capitalism with some social safety net stuff in place. The analogy that I thought of, maybe because I was a little hungry at the time, but if socialism were chocolate cake, neo-capitalism would be chocolate frosting on a regular cake. So, trying to connect those two statements, right? First of all, when you talk about ending neo-capitalism, it's on its own, it's not immediately clear if they want it replaced with more classical laissez-faire capitalism or with socialism. My guess is probably the latter. Not that it should matter, because by that definition, both Israel and Palestine have neo-capitalist economies. So the addition of this neo-capitalism, it's clearly an attempt to appear educated and make it not about what it really is. No, this was not about economic theory. This is quite simply not liking an economic system and blaming the Jews. That's been an anti-Semitic trope for thousands of years, and it's back again now, right outside my building. Which part of so I don't know if it's a coincidence that this was posted right outside the building where the one guy in the neighborhood who wears a kippah lives. Right? This is not a Jewish neighborhood. I'm the only one around here who wears this. There's another building that is owned by a Jewish realty agency from out of town, but they don't live there. Right? There's a building down the street, but no, I'm the only one around here, and it was right outside. So I don't know if that was coincidence, if this person's just been posting a bunch of these all over, and of course I saw the one that was near me. That's the one I would see. It's near me. But even so, I can't help but think, okay, if I had been walking down the street, how would this person have reacted to me? So I've got all those thoughts in my mind, but going through a little more of what's in here. Outside of the bold writing that immediately catches the eye, I don't know if you can see it, if the camera's resolution is that good, but it says, "Wake up, the United States is funding this genocide," with genocide double underlined. Trying to classify the urban warfare in Gaza as genocide is beyond ludicrous, is blatantly holding Israel to a double standard. We don't use the phrase genocide to refer to any other urban warfare. Opposing the war on its own is not anti-Semitic, right? According to the gold standard IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. It does say criticism of Israel analogous to or similar to other criticism of other countries, or might specify other democracies, but that can't be viewed as anti-Semitic. And yeah, I see no qualitative difference between just a blanket, ceasefire now and going back like 50 years. 55 years, hey, LBJ, how many kids have you killed today? So if it was only protesting the war, okay, but trying to link it into economic theories and that classifying as a genocide, then okay, it goes on to, and here it's a little hard to tell if everything here was written by the same person, as there are a couple of different colors of ink. There is Starbucks, Dunkin', McDonald's, etc. These mainstream chains are why. These mainstream chains are why there's nameless bodies being dug up from debris. That's what it says here. And so again, looking at those three, now they're not Jewish-owned companies, but they are not involved with the IDF. They do not fund the IDF. And so trying to understand this classification, it runs the standard risk of attempting to psychoanalyze idiots, where whatever logic you attempt to place there may not be what's going on in the idiot's mind. There's a few ways to think rationally, but there are innumerable logical fallacies you could make. But going off of my best guess as to what's going on, as to the theory here, there's been considerable opposition to, or at least in these radical, in those radical circles, there's been considerable opposition to any international companies that extend branches into Israel and are thus hiring Israeli employees, right? Because that's where they're doing some of their global business. If they are trying to argue that you should not, that it is wrong for companies to do regular old business in Israel, that's really crossing a line, and you can no longer say that it is only about war, and it is holding everyone collectively responsible. Then the last thing written here, and I can't tell if this was written by the same person or someone else writing on top of this, but in the blue, it points to those fast food chains and says, "You're eating shit, dude. Food is not poison. These are." And I don't know if that's supposed to be related or just someone else writing on top of it. It's possible it's feeding into that conspiracy that... So, I should mention, in this neighborhood, this predominantly Black and Hispanic neighborhood, people tend not to care as much about nutrition as in other parts. It's just, in my local shopping, there's not exactly a health food section in a lot of these local grocery stores or local bodegas. And so I don't know if this is trying to say that, oh, it's the government trying to poison this neighborhood or what. I really don't know what the purpose of this blue text here is. That's my best guess, but it's a flimsy guess. But just overall, just all of these put together, the simplest explanation for what's going through this person's mind is disliking the economic situation, either blaming the Jews or blaming the government and saying, and the government is supporting the Israeli government. But yeah, this pretty much any logic you attempt to use to connect any of this is a conspiracy theory, and if not explicitly anti-Semitic, then one with anti-Semitic implications and repercussions. This was not like the only reason why it might be more than 20 feet from where I sleep is because of the vertical distance down. Because I don't sleep on the ground floor, right? I live in an apartment. Yeah, this is not okay.